And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. It's potluck time. This is part of the show where we go around the table and share our favorite stories of the day, and whoever wears the brightest color gets to go first. Heather Hansen.
I saw, as I'm sure we all did, that President Obama had some not so nice things to say about Scott Walker and his foreign policy. Apparently, President Obama took it upon himself in a recent interview with NPR, I think, that Scott Walker needed to bone up on foreign policy. And while I am sure Rick has a lot to say about this since he loves Scott Walker so much, I just found it interesting because who else has President Obama said needed to bone up on foreign policy? Mitt Romney. When they were debating in the electoral debates, he said that Romney's ideas about Russia being of a concern, and the fact that our armed services weren't appropriately resourced was a concern.
The exact quote you're looking for is, the 50s just called, they want their foreign policy back. Oh, I've been practicing that for weeks.
He didn't say Russia was of concern. He said Russia was our biggest
geopolitical
enemy. And there's some
Right.
that
Big
believe,
difference.
well, a lot has happened to prove him right and
really.
President Obama wrong.
Are they,
so
bigger,
for him,
are they a bigger threat than Iran?
to many of us,
What about you?
I think they're on equal footing. Absolutely.
Iran hasn't invaded any countries last I
right,
checked
they're
since that happened.
picking up countries left and right. They're funding Iran. They're willing to take their nuclear weapons and do what with them, we don't know. But in any event, I don't think that President Obama is the best person to be judging how others are doing with regard to foreign policy, since he has problems of his own.
Particularly, Rick, when in 2008 he was in the Senate for about 5 minutes until he ran for president and had no foreign policy experience as well.
My only objection is that Obama's stealing my material and not giving me credit. I said exactly the same thing.
What, the 50s line?
No,
Everybody uses that one.
the Scott Walker has no business saying what he's saying. Excuse me. He really isn't. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's already decided that no matter what the deal is with Iran, no matter who supports it, no matter what it means to every other country that's involved with us, his first day as president, it's gone. Now, I think he'll find in the terrifying event that he should get to the White House, I think he'll find those aren't the kinds of promises you want to make. You want proof of that? Ask President Obama about Guantanamo. It's not so easy, and it's a really stupid thing to say, and you've just alienated almost all of our allies in making the comment. Obama was right. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about, but that's not going to get in the way.
I think that for Scott Walker, this is probably a boon, because anybody that Obama doesn't like, the Republicans are probably going to like even more.
Except people are figuring Walker out. We're seeing it in the polls.
You know what? I think that many people expect governors to
And I'm
learn
going to
on the
make you
job,
pay
and they'll be okay.
that you said that Russia's a bigger enemy or an equal
make
footing
me
enemy
pay.
than
That
Iran.
makes me
Somewhere there'll be a
nervous.
debate. And I'll remind
And I'll
you
win,
said that.
of course.
To your point, and then we have to get out, to your point, Walker sent out Mr. Obama's quote immediately and raised some nice money off of this.
Absolutely.
So putting Walker on the same level as Obama, the president, that's only a good thing. So anyway, Rick Unger, what did you bring tonight to the party besides
I'm
citizens?
still fixated on those pictures of Scott Walker. I have to sing a little tune. N-E-S-T-L-E-S, leave no water for the rest.
Oh,
How's going on?
Don't you want to say chocolate? Nestle's is pulling, thank you very much. Nestle's is pulling out hundreds of millions of gallons of California water, despite the fact that the state is having maybe the worst drought in history, certainly the worst drought in our recorded history. They're trying to figure out what to do. You've got agriculture there getting all the water they need, despite the fact that they're only 2% of the state's economy. You've got cities now getting cut back to 35% on the water available to them. And Nestle's is merrily rolling along on these contracts, making billions of dollars, pulling all the water out. Now, how are they doing it, you might ask? They're not stupid. They made deals with the Indian tribes, which are not subjected to the laws of the state or the federal government. So there's nothing anybody in California can do about it. The municipality in these areas had given the Indians the rights, and the Indians turned around and sold those rights, and they're just hundreds of millions of gallons while the rest of the state
But it's for chocolate.
goes wrong. No, it's for water.
But, you know,
It's
Nestle's
for bottled
response.
water.
Nestle has responded to this.
I'm sure they have.
And they said that the total water
said,
use in
"Nah,
California
nah, nah,
last
nah."
year was equal to the annual average watering of 2 golf courses.
Yeah.
The bigger problem here, Rick, is the
Wait a minute,
environmentalists.
you lost me. Their use. you
Their
said.
total
Oh.
use was the equivalent of the annual average watering of 2 golf courses.
Not
That
true
doesn't-
this year, since golf courses can't get any water now.
That's their response to this.
I don't
But the
believe
bigger
them, by the
problem is
way.
the environmentalists who have not allowed state legislators to put together dams and reservoirs to make this so that
Are
it's
you
not a
channeling
problem.
Carly Fiorina yet
I-
again?
Maybe she's channeling me.
You know, even the Republicans didn't buy it when she said it. Why do you want to go there? It was ridiculous.
I think she got it from me.
Oh, God, I hope
don't
not.
And we'll
You're much smarter than she is.
Oh, boy. Well, there you go. Listen, I think that everyone there should be saving
Right,
water.
not
There's
just
clearly a
Nestle's.
problem, and it's not, people should stop buying the bottled water.
And-
It's the
and
market. Let
I,
the market
I agree
work.
with that, but maybe they could actually kind of chill for a little while. Yeah?
Why not?
shorter showers are certainly in the works that we do know or will be fine. Anyway, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, more potluck, including mine. This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax. And welcome back to the show. I'm Joe Concha, and if you're just joining us, we're in the middle of our potluck where we're sharing our favorite stories of the day. Lisa, ladies first, or third in this case. What do you got?
Well, some good news for Starbucks, or at least Starbucks employees. They are doubling on their college tuition program. They are now offering free to college tuition 4 years of college as opposed to their previous 2 years. This is in partnership with Arizona State University, their online program. And full-time as well as part-time employees are eligible. In fact, you only have to work 20 hours a week at Starbucks to be eligible. And what's great about this is that the CEO, Howard Schultz, says that 70% of Starbucks workers do not have a college degree, and that he is looking at this as a way to help young people, especially underprivileged youth, have a better future. This is actually, I think, will be more effective than their recent race relations program, which they just attempted, and will actually have an impact upon people. This is, I think, is only a win-win situation. He's actually saying that in the future he's considering including paying for master's degrees as well. Wow. And I just think that's a great way for Starbucks to go.
He's a very magnanimous CEO, isn't he?
He's a good man.
He good efforts, as you said. The race relations campaign was
Yeah, they don't all
ill-conceived.
work.
Right. But he had his heart in the right
Yes,
place,
he
right?
Comes
Right.
from a good place.
And now to do this, Rick, do you think this will set a precedent for other
Boy,
chains to start?
As the old saying goes, from your mouth to God's ears. I mean, he is such a commendable guy, Howard Schultz. And this is such a great idea and such a great program that only says one thing: I actually care about my employees.
Right, and I want them to be
Right.
happy.
Yeah, it's just, you can't say enough good about it. I mean, other smart corporations might learn a lesson that, in an era where we're all concerned about income inequality and what's happening to the younger people and getting ahead, what a great idea.
And you know what? It almost, because I've said in this program before, I really prefer Dunkin'. I think Dunkin' has the best coffee out
But
there.
it makes you want to go.
But
there,
makes
doesn't
you
it?
now I
I
may
know.
almost go to
Right.
Starbucks and pay the $7 for a
Right.
cup of coffee. I know it costs
'Cause you
10 cents to
appreciate
make.
them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, good. I'd
So
support
it's great PR for them and ties into their brand of, as we have all been saying, caring about
Right.
the people who work there.
And you can tell the people who work there are happy. They definitely, I
Well, I've been
engage
to
with
a
my
few where-
people. Yeah, so most of the people that
I
they
know, that's
engage,
true.
they
Yeah.
seem to like it there,
They
and they
do.
get wonderful benefits. They've always been known, but
Yes.
now it's a head and shoulders
great.
above.
that. Yeah. If they just could stop filling the coffee up too high, because I always
Yeah,
have to go to the
pour
garbage
it.
can and pour out a little
Too
bit.
hot.
So do
Yeah,
I.
hot and
what
high.
really gets
Oh,
me when
goodness
it's
Yeah,
gracious.
yeah. But otherwise, from a PR perspective,
And it comes at a very good time when other fast food places or retailers are being forced to pay higher income or give better benefits. This is actually really one of the best things that can be done
This
for
is worth
employees.
a lot of money
Yeah.
to people.
absolutely. And speaking of PR, it's my turn. We're going to talk about bad PR. So, a little trivia question for you people at home. How much do you think ESPN is worth? 10 billion, 25 billion, 50 billion? If you answered C, 50 billion, you get a gold star. And that's all that Sam Holtz is going to get. Who's Sam Holtz? He's a 12-year-old kid who actually tied for first in ESPN's bracket challenge. Tied for first with a couple other people out of 11 million. How good was his bracket? He only missed 6 picks, and he got the entire Sweet 16 right, Elite 8, Final Four, and the champion. That is very hard to do. So ESPN, with this bracket challenge, the top prize is $20,000 and a trip to Maui. So he would have been placed in a raffle with the other winners that he tied with, and then one of them would have won. Except Sam now isn't eligible. You know why? Because he's 12 years old, and the rules clearly state you have to be 18 years or older in order to enter this contest. And he used his dad's email in order to get in, right? So ESPN, again, worth $50 billion. They're under the Disney umbrella. They said, well, you know, we're going to have him come on SportsCenter and he could anchor there for a little bit. Okay, but let me tell you what the what the head of their PR said, as my phone just decided to leave me for a second. He says, the great thing is that this kid beat all experts out there. All the commentators, celebrities, all the college experts. That's what makes this so awesome. The prize really is secondary. No, it's not. It's $20,000 and a trip to Maui, which ain't cheap. So all they had to do, this is very simple, either give him a trip to Disney, you own it, or $20,000 in a trust, you're speaking of college, to a scholarship. When he turns 18, he could access it, and when he graduates high school, take the family on a nice trip to Maui. They had an opportunity to take this and make it into something great, and now instead they're getting killed. I'm sorry?
I said maybe they still will when they hear a lot of
to say about
Oh,
Whose
no.
fault this is?
Whose?
The lawyers.
What do you mean?
Because it's at certain age groups. He snuck on with his dad's email. I'm telling you what, these types of contests, the lawyers are all over them. And you start bending the rules for
Yeah, but
one
who's-
person, now you've got a bunch of
Who's it-
12-year-olds.
oh, who's it going to hurt?
I'm not saying, listen,
Send him to Disneyland with his
Right.
parents and then put him into college. It's absolutely what
I have a
Lawyers
feeling
getting
that may
away.
happen, and the PR guy I just
Absolutely.
read, he contacted me today once
So
he talked to me about my
Disney.
column that I wrote about. Anyway, when we come back, it's time for Yay or Nay. This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax.